Welcome to Dragonfly Trading. My name is Carrie, and I'm a full-time trader in the crypto and Forex markets. Today's video is going to be an update on Bitcoin, ETH, and the SP 500. Remember, this is not financial advice. This is just my bias and the way that I look at the market. If you're interested in learning my system, the link is in the description below for the Discord. There is also a link to follow me on Instagram and also a link for the Market Liberator indicator, the Cypher. For just a donation, that indicator can be yours. All right, let's get started. So we're on Bitcoin on the daily time frame. You can see that we're bonking our heads on this resistance. If we can get above it, we have a clear path up to the next resistance. Below us, you can clearly see the support. Now, there is two ways left that we could be bullish and see all-time highs. That's it, two ways. If these two ways do not happen, we are going to break this support and come down to lower levels. So let's talk about these two ways, and I'm going to make it very simple. The first way is the triangle. Now, we very rarely know if we have a true triangle until we're making E-leg. Until we start to make E-leg, we cannot tell yet that we have a true triangle. Another thing is you need to be able to draw the contracting trend lines in the RSI. Right now, we're kind of off with that for this bigger triangle. The bottom trend line is okay, but the top trend line, if we come up and we cannot draw these contracting trend lines in RSI, it's not a triangle. And we have a problem here at the bottom. We should be being able to pull this up with higher lows. And we're not able to do that in RSI. So that kind of is a problem, and it diminishes the possibility. On the 2-day, it's a little better. Okay. Actually, it's not. It's worse. Triangles do not make bullish and bearish divergence. True triangles. So take this into consideration when thinking about this triangle count and the fact that we may make it. Now, could we still make it without RSI contracting the way that we would like to see it contract? Absolutely. Because it's a guideline. It's not a rule. Okay. So we could still do it. But we need to follow up and make it. I see this as a leg. The yellow box is a connector, and this a partner leg to make this triangle. We need to keep going and get up there. We can make this leg into a three-way move. Okay. It would just end up being 3, 3, 3. It would be a complex structure. But the one thing we cannot do is reject somewhere up in these fib levels and come back down and hit this trend line before we go up and make D. Cannot happen. Okay. If we make the, let me put these back on here real quick. There we go. If we do not make it up there, and say we have one more little hit to the high, well, guys, that's going to lead into the bigger WXY count that I've been talking about. And there's no way around it. This will be an X and will come down. Okay? It's just the way it is. We got to make triangle or the other count that I'm going to talk about. Otherwise, this is all a connector for this first leg. And we're going to get a partner leg to the downside. Okay. Let's talk about the other way we can get there. It is the bull count. Now, I've talked about it many times that I don't like this wave one. Doesn't hit proper fib extensions. Even with the little truncated fifth that we can make happen, I still don't like it. But it doesn't mean that this is not true. But we need to go. We need to start making this third and prove itself. Okay? If we come down and play around, we're going to end up invalidating it. So this count is still on the table. We cannot break the low at 37,700. Let's see. For accuracy, it is 37,580. Okay? This low right here where the 2 is. We don't want to break that. If we do, we're going to invalidate this count. So this count and triangle count are the only two ways that I see that we can not break the 30K mark. Let's take a look at RSI. We're still up here on the daily. Okay. Now we can 100% trend up here and get up there for the triangle. We can 100% trend up here and finish our third. We're going to have to see, can we do it? Can we get past this resistance? It doesn't look that big of a resistance there. I think we could possibly bust through there. Okay. On the lower time frames, we had a reset with bullish divergence, but so far it hasn't given us much of a move. Okay. I really would have liked to see the 4-hour hold the bullish support like it did back here. The bullish support is between 40 and 50. It broke through all the way down past 30. Okay. This is a potential setup for a transition from bullish to bearish. And what would happen is on the 4-hour we would get rejected in the red zone where we are right now, or at approximately 70. We would not push back up into this higher 70 zone. And then we would come back down and break 30 again. Okay. And that would mean that this is done here and we're coming down. We don't want this to happen. We want to continue up, push up above the red zone, come back down, hold bullish support between 40 and 50, and then trend up in here. Okay? Like we were doing all in here. Okay? When we were pushing up. Now that was choppy, messy, and it is ugly. But hopefully we could get a better trend happening if we're going to go up for the bullish count. This lower count, if this is a 5-wave move, which I don't think it is, I think it's a zigzag. But if it is a 5-wave move in the start of something, we cannot break this low. This here looks corrective to me. If we are going to hold this low, it looks like a 3, 3, and then we're going to come down in 5 or 3, and we cannot break this low if this is going to take off bullish. Otherwise, I see this as 3, that this is made 3, and that we're going to come down in 3 or 5. Okay? Now, if we do that, we can still get up there for triangle, because I talked about us making this a 3-wave move. We would end up with 3, 3, and then 3 up there for the triangle. Okay? So it's still doable. All right. ETH is exactly the same. There is no difference hardly at all between them. The triangle. We need to get up there. ETH is closer to doing it than Bitcoin. Okay? It would be a 3-wave move. We've got to do this. We've got to not reject and come back down and hit this trend line. The other count is the bull count, where we're calling this a wave 1. Now on ETH, the wave 1 is even worse. And actually, we'll talk about it here quickly and why I don't feel that it's a 1. First of all, this correction right here is an A, a B, and a C. This is a 3-wave zigzag that went into the expanded B pocket. Okay, here's the expanded B pocket. Here's the invalidation at the 1.618. We clearly made an ABC there. Well, with that said, it would mean that we would have to call this a 1, a 2, a little tiny 3, 4, 5. Okay? Now let's take a fib measurement on that. We hit the 1-to-1. Okay? If this was going to be an impulse wave, the third should have come to the 1.618, a fourth, and then a fifth up to the 2.236. This is the normal fib levels for an impulse wave. Now, could this be one? Well, there's no invalidations to it. But to me, it really looks like A, B, and a C to the 1-to-1, meaning that it's a 3-wave move. So with that said, well, I guess we can still call it a wave 1. I don't like it, but we're going to leave the bullish count on the table until we break this low right here at 24.50. Okay? If it can hold this upwards motion and get up there, then we have a bullish count, and that would be wonderful. So we'll have to wait and see. Okay? Now, ETH, the daily has bearish divergence coming from back there. Okay? So there's a good chance that we reject. Now, if we do reject, we can still get up there, just like Bitcoin, by turning this into a 3-wave move to get up there for triangle. And it would be 3, 3, 3 as a WXY. Okay? So we do have a chance, a big chance, that we can get up there for triangle. I just wish that we could draw it better in RSI, and that would make me a lot happier and a lot more confident that we have that count. Okay? All right, SP 500. Looking at this, I see a 1, a 2. All of this is 3. This is a 4. And we're in a 5. The big question is the 5 done? Highest point on RSI is sitting right here. That's where a third would be. And we're making bearish divergence between the third and the fifth. That is what happens in Elliott Wave. Now, you can draw a trend line from your 2 to your 4. When broken is when this run is complete. That is a long way away, but of course the higher it goes, this comes up with it. So if we were to just tank right now, I mean, we would really have to come down to break that. Okay. So 5, let's get in there and look at it now. Looking at 5, I want to say that this is a 1, this is a 2, that either 3 is in or it's not in, and this is a sub-degree. But I feel it's 3. 4 is trying to be done, but we're going to talk about it. And we're 5 to the upside. Okay. Now, if we break the trend line, then that's not going to be a good thing. Because we don't want to come into the top of our wave 1 right here. Coming into the top of our 1 invalidates this and will tell us that we potentially have somewhat of a top here. Now, what could happen, let me go up to the weekly so you can see, is that this has completed a wave 1 of the 5th. And the 5th is going to be a much bigger wave. Okay, so if that's the case and 3 was here, 4 was here, and this was 5, and this is a wave 1 of the 5th, then we just can't break this low. I know that's way down there, and this would pull back for a 2, and then it would blast off again, and we'd get a big third wave. Okay, but we cannot break this. We break this trend line from 2 to 4. That tells us that it's absolutely, this wave is done. And if we break this low, it's telling us that this wave is done, the 5th of the 5th. Okay, so let's get in there and take a look at the correction. Okay, let's get a little closer. I see this as an A wave, a 3-wave move, a 3-wave move down that came into the expanded B pocket. Okay, that is where the B wave breaks the bottom of the A. I see this as a C wave to the upside. What this C wave needs to do is it needs to break this top. If it can do that, then this would be potentially very bullish, where it makes a 3-wave move, a 3-wave move that breaks the high. So this becomes A, This becomes an expanded B. And then we have the potential to make a C that makes a higher low. That would be very bullish flat. And then it would go. Okay. But if it doesn't break the top, it's still, I feel that it potentially has another hit to the high, and it still would be A, B, and potentially C, and hopefully it would make a higher low. What we don't want to see is a break. We don't want it to break A wave, and we don't want it to break this trend line. If it does, we just don't want to come into the top of this one. Okay? It's totally doable to not come into the top of it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you watched it to the end. And I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their weekend. And I'll see you in the next one.